Alexandra has produced a documentary entitled Friends of God. It follows some militant Christians around and through interviews and displays of their faith demonstrates their mindset. Now, Ms. Pelosi's work is similar to the Oscar-nominated documentary Jesus Camp, which puts the children of militant Christians on display. That film emphasizes intense behavior as well. Well, with all due respect to the filmmakers, anybody can do that, and it proves nothing. I could film militant secular progressives in S&M bars all night long. What does that prove? There'll always be people on the fringe, folks who take things too far. The truth is that most American Christians are sincere people trying to lead good lives. They're not a threat. They're not trying to impose their beliefs on anyone. But the secular progressive movement pretty much ignores those people and concentrates on militant Christianity. Enter New York Times television writer Alessandra Stanley and Washington Post TV critic Tom Shales. Both of them consistently use their TV columns to advance a committed left agenda. Remember, the Factor could not find one conservative television writer working for a major American newspaper, not one. Anyway, Stanley and Shales should be writing op-ed pieces rather than dishonestly shoving their world vision down people's throats on the TV page. While reviewing Ms. Pelosi's documentary, Stanley writes, quote, "Friends of God serves as a breezy, colorful reminder of how George W. Bush became president, why Fox News has the highest ratings of any 24-hour cable news network, and why Democrats didn't win an even greater landslide in the 2006 elections." Ms. Stanley uses her platform to link the president and Fox News in with militant Christians. Another attempt by Stanley to marginalize people she doesn't like by asserting a false premise. The woman does this kind of dishonest stuff all the time, ladies and gentlemen. And Tom Shales is Stanley's soul brother, so to speak. Shales writes, quote, "They call it a culture war, Christians versus the secular progressive movement, a phrase favored by Bill O'Reilly, Fox's nut in residence. Christians versus abortion rights advocates, and Christians versus science." That's right, Tom. It's those loopy, ignorant Christians who fail to worship at the altar of abortion rights and who reject provable science. Yeah, Tom, you've got those Christians pegged all right. By the way, Shales, who's getting up there in years, needs new reading glasses. The culture war is between traditionalists and secular progressives, not Christians and SPs. Culture Warrior has been a bestseller for 16 weeks, Tom, baby. Read it, learn it, live it. Talking Points is nothing against Alexandra Pelosi's documentary or any other display of Christian militancy. Few people enjoy being harangued by religious fanatics. My line is, unless you can change water into wine at a wedding, don't tell me what to believe. I can decide for myself. But there's a huge difference between mainstream Christians and the militants. But to the SP media, we're all the same. Dangerous. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction to this situation. Joining us from Philadelphia, Christine O'Donnell, president of the Faith and Flag Alliance, a group that defends Christian principles. And from Chicago, Sandy Rios, radio talk show host, president of the Culture Campaign, and Fox News contributor. Sandy, begin with you. When you saw the New York Times and Washington Post articles, what did you think?
Oh, it's just business as usual, Bill. We're used to this. You know, what they do, I remember when I was in Washington and we would do the March for Life, and the cameras would gather. If there'd be someone in the crowd that was bouncing up and down and making a funny face toward having and being very expressive, that's the person that got the media. What they do is they pick the fringe elements, and that's what they've done in this video, as far as I can see. I wouldn't call them militant. I would say it's the bouncing Christians. And the thing of it is, Christianity is a very serious thing. It's life-transforming, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to share something that's life-transforming with other people. But there is a group of Christians that are, you know, it's like family members that maybe don't behave the way you think they might, and that's who they focused on. So they take the people that are a little bit unusual and don't play well on camera, and they link them to Fox News Channel and to you. That makes me mad, because that's just so unfair, and to George Bush for that matter.
But you see,
yes,
the problem, Sandy, the problem, Christine, I should say, is that if you're going to let Alexandra Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's daughter, follow you around for 18 months, Alexandra Pelosi is going to find weird behavior, all right? And the weird behavior is going to show up wherever the movie is shown, and then SP critics like Alessandra Stanley and Tom Shales are going to exploit it. So it's almost the fault of the militant Christians.
It is. I mean, it's not the fault, but first let me say that Nancy Pelosi has can benefit from making Christians look bad, because she touts her Christianity when it's politically expedient for her, yet she doesn't follow any of the Christian moral principles.
I don't think that's fair, Ms. O'Donnell. I don't think you should be judging Nancy Pelosi. I do not think you should be doing that.
Well, she says that she's a Catholic. She says that she's a Catholic woman whose Catholicism shapes her policy, and it doesn't. Again,
judging people in a forum like this is wrong. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to judge Ms. Pelosi, because then you do what these other people are doing. Ms. Pelosi is answerable to her conscience. All right?
Right.
And that's it. But if you think she's a phony, you can think she's a phony. But to judge her morally is not wrong. It's not a right thing to do. Now let's stay on the issue.
Morally.
Here's the issue.
My point is that people have an interest. They're uncomfortable with the moral code that Christianity presents. So if you can make the people who defend those principles look bad, then it justifies your position.
I agree with that all the time. It's a political play. This is a political play.
So
diminish. All right, but you were, and I just don't want that to happen.
I didn't mean to stand in judgment of her. What I want to point out is that Christianity is not a set of beliefs that you can pick and choose from. It's not a smorgasbord. It's not a buffet. You either embrace it all and represent it all, or embrace a worldview that says you can do whatever you want.
That is a personal decision, and people shouldn't be judging people in a moral way unless they break the law. Now, Sandy, I want to get over to you. In this Pelosi documentary, there's Ted Haggard. Okay, and then, you know, what happened to Ted Haggard? We know what happened to him. You know, he was caught in a compromising position, and he is a hypocrite. Everyone knows that. Okay, now, Ted Haggard has to be the most arrogant guy on the planet to cooperate with a documentary like this while he knows he's got his own secret life. So it's Haggard's fault, correct?
Well, Bill, I agree with you. I think Christians have behaved in very bad ways, and I think, you know, Christian miniature golf and Christian wrestling and the behavior that some people exhibit when they're supposedly worshiping bothers me, because Christ following is a very serious business. It's not without humor, but it's serious. Jesus was sober and intelligent, and when he spoke, his truth cut through the confusion of the culture. That's why he was hated. Jesus wasn't bouncing up and down and doing wrestling.
No, but
this is an aberration.
I want to make it clear, though. Wait, Sam. I want to make it clear. This is America, and if you want to be a militant Christian and bounce up and down, you go right ahead. If that's the way you want to express your beliefs, I have no problem with that.
No, but you're talking about religious freedom in the country. I'm talking about the behavior that Christians should embrace as Christians.
But that's your opinion. See, I don't think there's anything wrong with their behavior. I just don't. I just want everybody to know.
Bill.
I want everybody to know that that kind of behavior is going to be exploited by the other side. Ladies, I got to run.
Okay, Ted Haggard is no longer there, by the way. He's been taken away.
I know that. But he did the documentary while he had the secret life. That ain't helping anybody on the Christian side. Next on the rundown, one of the stars of Grey's Anatomy enters the